How do I fix this? Why is everyone so much stronger than me? Why is this fleet power so high compared to mine? How are they destroying my ship so quickly? What the hell is that thing? Why is that thing ruining my colony? Why are they revolting? Ooh! I see. Alright, I know enough of everything to properly play and make a good guide. Oh, you there. Who let you all in here? Who do I need to fire? Welcome. We have made this video just for you new people and veterans in Stellaris. We start off with number 1, science ships. Sounds weak for a start, right? Well, you're wrong. Science ships are a key ship in the beginning up to the end. Usually most players will create either 1 or 2 and send them off on their merry way. Psst, if you don't know how, select the ship, make sure it has a scientist in it, and then right-click a nearby system and click Survey. Doing it while holding Shift will stack orders. Well, the tip is to create more. You will lose science ships and scientists. Plenty of events can take out your scientist ships and scientists too. Plus, and they are cheap, really cheap. Early game exploration is really important. Find empires before they find you. Find checkpoints to quickly claim and fortify early on, and strategic resources such as volatile modes, dark matter, etc. Having more than 2 ships will allow you to spread out even further, or as most lanes split twice, even thrice for some. That way you cover more ground, and while still vulnerable to losing scientists, at least you gain more info. That way you can have ships surveying and also excavating archaeology sites, which after a while grant big bonuses, or maim your scientists if you prefer. You can even appoint 1 ship to get all the anomalies you slowly discover, usually granting further permanent resource generation. Not so simple, huh? And a small extra mid-game tip: after you excavated everything, surveyed all you could find, and finished all of your anomalies, boost research. Send each ship to a planet with a lab or any science-generating planet and boost. Your now useless ships are helping your main research goals further. Basic surveying, excavation, and anomaly handling covered. Time to move on to number 2. Resources. Watch them carefully. You watched it? Good. Most of the game you would be in a deficit in something. Whether it's food, energy, or consumer goods depends on you. It's your choice. What do I mean by that? Well, you see, every resource is created and used by everything. Mining stations, for example, take energy credits. Sure, you can put one on a sun that produces 8 energy per month, but what about all of those ore mining sites you have? See what I'm getting at? It's like how you out of nowhere your food production is completely gone, or consumer goods. Something is eating them up. Carefully plan your steps to how you will invest your resources, and remember, a deficit isn't a bad thing. It's a stepping stone. This will lead us to number 3, buildings. Usually when creating buildings, we look at what we need and go, oh, I need food, let's make this. Oh, and my energy is low, create this too. Then after you play for a few minutes, boom, your economy just shifts to everywhere. Do note your strategic resource production too. Not too important early on, but mid to late game buildings and ships will require it. Not as upkeep per se, but as building material too. So always make sure you're producing a bit more than you need. Talking of massive economical change, we move to number 3, pop management. This is really important, so listen up. Pops are your blood. Without them, nothing will work and no job will get done at all. First thing to know about pops is how they are made. Each pop on a planet slowly is created over time, affected by immigration and emigration, both good and bad. Climate buildings such as the Gene Clinic, and research such as this one. Now, having a lot of pops is amazing, but pops will require 4 main things that are really important. Housing, food, consumer goods, and amenities. Got it? Housing, cause do I really have to explain this one? Each pop would require some housing. At least they'd like it. Food and consumer goods, to eat and buy toilet paper. Don't know, consumer goods. And amenities, basically the infrastructure of your world. This affects pop happiness. Low amenities, revolting planet. Just enough amenities, normal production. But if you have extra amenities, those make your pops happier and they work better. Do note you will need more amenities than usual on planets with lower habitability, as those naturally reduce happiness. Moving to the next topic, jobs. You have pops, they are happy, but they have no work, and that is awful. As mentioned, every pop consumes food and consumer goods. If there's no work, crime will rise, same with low happiness or stability, and crime is awful to deal with. Trust me on that one. You'd want to have available jobs and what you will need in the future. Not every job you create will be instantly filled. As mentioned, pops take their sweet ass time to grow, but when they do finally grow, jobs will be taken. Before we continue further, let's talk about the job hierarchy. Like real life, people want the best jobs, so do those pops. They want the better, high-paying jobs. Rulers are the top, usually producing unity, amenities, possibly trade value and stability depending on your ethics, and are the fewest jobs. Coming up next is the specialist jobs, such as researchers, enforcers, artisans, and more. The thing is with those jobs is usually when you need to create more jobs, there's a thing you need to watch out for. Worker level pops, the lowest of the bunch, knowledge, such as miners, electricians, and farmers, will quickly rise up to make those spots for themselves. And even if you favored a worker job, specialists wouldn't step down. Instead, other workers will abandon their jobs for what you favorited, and this could cause chaos in some places. Do note this, disabling or destroying a building with such jobs might help. If a specialist or ruler has no job, after a while they will go back to being a worker. Do note this takes a short while, makes your pop unemployed for that short while. Covering another big thing about pops and jobs here is the upgrades of buildings. Sure, they give more jobs, but they take more resources per job too. Nice, upgraded your lab? Well, good. Now your most important workforce, the normal worker class, just stole all those jobs. Now you are lacking electricians, miners, and farmers. Possibly even 10 or more of them if you just upgraded 3 buildings one after another. Sure, you research a lot, but no one makes energy or food now, meaning you just paved your way to a very large deficit, and I'm hungry, damn it. What does a king need to do for a burger? Basically, pop management is a very important thing to know and pace. Now we're gonna get to number 4, the Galactic Market. The Galactic Market is your best friend, as you probably will be working at a deficit every now and then. You always want a surplus of something, a large one. If you're making a lot of minerals and can't upgrade artisan buildings yet to make some more consumer goods, sell them. You can simply open the Galactic Market, get rid of the large surplus of minerals, and use the energy credits to buy more consumer goods instead. Playing with the market is a very effective way of working while progressing, as it keeps you afloat when you can't upgrade or waiting for new stuff to be made. Do note you can also sell surplus strategic resources if you're really in a pinch. Now, as we covered most of the planet-based stuff, let's move to number 5, colonization. The dream of many a species, when possible, is extending your reach to the stars above. Whenever you find a planet you can colonize that is a green color, aka showing it's habitable, do it! Colonize it! The more planets you have, the more overall pops you will have, aka the more workforce you will gather. You have no idea how big the difference is. Early game colonization can pave the way to a very strong economical future. Do note, you can colonize orange yellow tier habitable planets, but as we mentioned before, we are putting a underline on it. You will need to supply more amenities for said planet. Yeah, that was a short one too. The only thing you need to know more is that colony ships are kind of expensive for the early game. Still, colonize as early as you can, but not too early and instantly get a deficit. Now let's get to the big mechanic in the game. Number 6, Unity. Unity is possibly one of the most important things in the game. It is what gives you the ability to unlock traditions. Traditions are permanent buffs to your race and unlock bonus options such as edicts, for example. Take the Discovery tradition. Early game, it is a massive asset. Just from picking it, you already get an edict and plus 20% anomaly research speed. The edict gives you plus 25% survey speed, which is huge, with a 10% chance to find more anomalies and increases sensor range. Do note that edicts require influence to activate, though they do last for quite a while. Every advancement in traditions requires more unity than the previous one. However, completing a tradition tree will pave the way for ascension, a point of ascension which can allow you to get stuff like, well, ascension-y stuff. Technological ascendancy, for example, plus 10% research speed and 50% chance for rare tech, give me that. Or one vision to get even more unity and reduce pop immunity usage. Basically, it's good stuff, very good stuff. Usually you get unity from Autocon monuments or temples if you play spiritualists, and a couple of other ways. So do it, be united or something inspirational. Do war crimes together, yeah, that works. Let's move together to the next subject, number 7, war. War is inevitable in the game, even more so if you have DLCs like the Utopian expansion for Gestalt Consciousness. Ah yes, there is a devouring swarm or fanatic purifier. They will try to end you. It's worth mentioning that from the very beginning it is recommended to start making a small fleet, something like 20 or even 50 corvettes. Reason? Tiny ship. Hard to hit, but sadly also doesn't hit all too hard. Should be enough for the beginning though. To deal with these pesky ancient miner drones or crystals or amoeba, etc., take into consideration your view range, or detection range as the game calls it. If you have the edict map the stars going, your ships will be able to see what's in the next system without traveling there. That way, if there's a massive aggressive creature or fleet, you can save your ships and not have your poor scientist or fleet explode. Back to the topic at hand, make sure to assign a fleet commander to your fleet. They give good bonuses, like more weapon range, more damage, etc. You'd also want to look for choke points, aka places between you and them that are very tiny. Basically only a single hyperlane connecting both empires that is an amazing choke point. Just make sure to upgrade your star base and reinforce it for the upcoming inevitable conflict. Now before you can spark a war with your better fleet and defenses in place, you need a war goal. Could be anything from forcing their borders open to completely taking over the enemy empire. Do note this, it will be much easier to force open borders rather than claim territory, and it will be easier to claim territory than to claim a system system with a planet in it. Nevertheless, a capital one. You will need to create an army, not a fleet, an army for planetary invasion and annexation. You create an army on a planet, basically recruit people. It doesn't take away any pops somehow, but they are limited as to how many armies you can recruit depending on your pop number. Now let's say you have everything ready, superior fleet, defense, and army. Select the enemy empire you want to, let's say conquer and claim, hit make claims, and now grab what pieces of their territory you want. Do note it costs influence, a lot of it, more for planets and if they're far away from you. Now after claiming it, you can instantly tell them, hey, your land, it's gonna be mine. And so war begins. You send in your army, crush theirs, and start claiming territories. If you claim land with an inhabited planet inside of it, you will need to have your army invade it. Why? Because they won't surrender. You'll probably have to invade more worlds as well, as they will refuse to surrender unless they are losing more than decisively. They will try to offer a status quo, however agreeing to give you some of the land to end the war so long you leave them be. Do note that after a war with an empire, you can't immediately start another war with them. There will be a peace period. And war exhaustion? This is basically a set timer. The side reaching 100% will lose faster. If both reach 100%, eventually a status quo will be forced. Woo, that was a long one. Better hope you sub and like. You have no idea how much water I already drank to keep my throat not sore. As the video is getting really long at this point, if you want more detailed tips, tell us in the comments or Discord. Now back to business. Number 8, trade routes. So you ever wonder what this weird trade value equals icon is? Well, trade routes are a thing. Set up a trade hub from another station in a system with trade value in it and boom. Behold, more energy credits. Yes, trade value is converted to creds on transfer to the capital. The range of which a station collects trade value is expanded by one hyperlane for each trade hub or hyperlane register. Now do note that one trade value is one energy cred. However, if you are a part of a trade league federation, you can use trade policies. Now those allow you to turn trade value into unity, consumer goods, both or both, and energy. Depends on the level. Do note that choosing multiple options earns around half and half or of both options, something like that. Now moving on to number 9, there will be a touch of politics, agreements. You see, you can have some political business with anyone who likes you. Before I explain some of the benefits, do beware the agreements require influence to be maintained over a month, as in minus 0.25 per month. So do not do too many agreements so you won't have any influence left to claim new territory. And to wrap it up in number 10, a very small also influence and politics related factions. After a small while in the start, you will have factions formed in your empire. You can satisfy their needs to increase its happiness and give you more influence. You can also suppress factions you don't like for influence, of course, and promote the ones you do. That way you can make sure your governing stays the way you want it to be. And finally, we're done. Thank you for tuning in to this galactic transmission. Please subscribe to the channel transmitting it, slam your Corvette into the bell icon, join our Discord and Patreon and stuff. Yes, comment as well. Tell us if you want more.